if your dog had a button to tell you what they needed, whether it's a bathroom break, attention, or even a life-saving alert? Welcome to The Dog Who Asked for More, the podcast helping dog parents who feel stuck and overwhelmed by their pup finally let go of the guilt, learn to communicate clearly, and build the bond you've always dreamed of through a partnership-based approach that combines training, nutrition, and enrichment instead of chasing the quick fixes that don't actually work. I'm Em, and in this episode, you'll learn how one dog named Champ inspired a smart communication tool that gives pets a voice, why missed cues lead to frustration, and how tech can bridge the gap without replacing training, and how iPuppy is supporting everyday pet parents and service dog handlers around the world. Today, I'm joined by Mark Condon, a husband, father of two, financial planner, and the accidental inventor of iPuppy, a smart training button for dogs. What began as a way for his senior dog, Champ, to communicate his bathroom needs turned into a device helping pet parents, service dog handlers, and even medical alert teams stay connected to their dogs. Mark, let's start with Champ. Can you share the story of how he inspired the first iPuppy button?
I got Champ when he was 10 weeks old. I had him since he was a little puppy, a little over 14 years. And as you said, I'm in finance by trade, and I have a lot of meetings, and now everything's pretty much virtual. And at my previous house, I had a couch behind me, and Champ would always be lying down on the couch behind me. He'd be falling asleep in the middle of meetings. You see him kicking his legs like in the middle of a meeting, like he's chasing a rabbit. He was a staple for probably 5 years. As he aged, his back legs became very weak, and our office was in the basement. So we had to go down a flight of stairs, and it just proved to be too difficult for him. So I carried him up and down the stairs for about a year, just because he wanted to come down. I wanted him down next to me. I didn't want to leave him on another floor of the house by himself. And I just got to a point where his back legs were just so weak that it didn't make sense for him to come down in the office with me anymore. So he had been on the main floor of our home, which it killed me. We weren't side by side. And I wanted a device that could do two things: either keep an eye on him at any point in time and just check in on him. And there's plenty of cameras out there, plenty of good ones. But more importantly, I want a way for him to notify me if he had to go to the bathroom. But a more modern day version than hanging those annoying bells by the door, right? Because as he got older, the window of when he could tell you that he had to go out was just getting shorter. I was not being side by side with him. I wasn't always going to know. I Googled it, and I researched, and I just couldn't believe there wasn't anything out there where you can just get a push notification sent to your phone from your dog. I think of it like a Ring doorbell for your dog. I just couldn't believe there wasn't anything out there like that. So that's where the idea for iPuppy came from. Champ, rest in peace, Champ. He passed probably 3 months into the process of when we came up with the idea. It was March and July, so 4 months into the process where we came up to the idea. When he had passed, so I never got a chance to even try a prototype with him. But, as you can tell, he was a chocolate lab. So as you can tell by the logo, it's a way to kind of keep Champ's memory alive. We always try to throw little, whether it's social media posts or something, just kind of an ode to Champ as we continue on this process.
What a super neat way to make your life easier, make your dog's life easier, but also give him a way to communicate with you his needs, especially as he's aging. Aging dogs require so much more attention. The bells on the door, we used to have those, but I took them off because Fitz would just hit them so hard that they would just swing around. They're annoying. I think that it's really cool that you could just get a push notification. And you're right, it is the Ring doorbell for dogs. What a genius idea.
Yeah, I wonder, I probably can't copyright and say Ring doorbell for dogs, but that's essentially what it is. I don't want Ring to come after me, but that's essentially what it is. So it's the modern day version of hanging those annoying bells by the door. You get a push notification sent to your phone from your dog. I mean, it's pretty cool.
A lot of what we talk about on this show is communication and understanding our dogs. So for many of us, we miss our dogs' subtle cues all the time. What do you think most pet parents overlook when it comes to communication with their dog?
I mean, a lot. I mean, dogs, they can't talk, right? There's only so many things that they can do. They can bark, they can whine, they can scratch by the door. In the pet tech space, people are trying to find ways to just enrich their dogs' lives even more and have more direct communication with them. And I think as technology comes out, there's so much more that's coming that I think it's really going to help people bridge the gap of the communication with their dog. Even just simple, one feature of the iPuppy, which we'll get into at some point, is It was initially created for reaching your neighbors or dog walkers if you're not home, but you can set it up so multiple people receive these notifications. If your dog's sitting there home alone and had to go to the bathroom, there's really nothing that you can do, right? Unless you have an automatic doggy door or just a doggy door with a fenced in yard where you can let your dog out. Like there's no way to communicate with your dog without something like this. The cameras can only do so much. You can't really communicate with your dog, right? But with the iPuppy, you can. And if your dog needs to go to the bathroom and you're not home, you can set it up so your neighbor or dog walker can come by and they can let the dog out for you. So there's just constant communication in you and the dog, whether you're out for a night around town, running some errands, or just away on vacation. There's always a way to be in touch with your dog.
Communication is just finally starting to hit that level where people want to have that deeper level of communication and relationship with their dog. And I agree with you. I think that there's going to be so much tech coming out in the next 5 to 10 years that's just going to blow us away. And I can't wait to see what we come up with. But in the meantime, products like yours really bring us to the next level. And you have a lot, as you said, features that iPuppy can provide for us. So tell us about those features, tell us how it works, and all of the kinds of problems that it can help solve.
Absolutely. Yeah. So when we're first designing the iPuppy, I still have the initial sketches that we had of all the different ideas of how we were going to make the product and how we landed on the one that we eventually landed on. We wanted a product that was a little bit of a raised level, so it's not super flat. And we wanted it on the ground versus hanging up on a wall. And the part of the reason for that is we really wanted the camera function of the iPuppy to be at the front of the unit. There's the 24/7 camera. It's 160 degrees wide, so it's a pretty wide camera. It's a very nice quality camera too. We didn't cheap out on that at all, because that's a huge component to this. It's got a two-way speaker on the unit. So when you open up the iPuppy app, you can listen in to whatever's happening in the purview of the room and see what's happening. And you hold down the microphone, you can talk into your phone, and it comes out with the speaker on the side of the unit so your dog can hear your voice. It has emotion detection. So you can set the sensitivity of that, whether you want it to go off, pretty easily with something light, even just like sometimes when I'm at home and there's wind and the leaves are blowing around in the windows, it'll go off. So you can set it how sensitive or touchy you want that to be. And then anytime the motion sensor goes off, you get a 10-second video playback so you can see what's going on when that occurred. And one of the most important features that we'll get into, which initially I had said was created for neighbors and dog walkers, is inviting multiple people to receive that notification. And we lived in a townhouse community at the time when we thought of this. So I said, it'd be great if my neighbors who were tight-knit community, people in apartment buildings, your neighbor could come let your dog out for you. That one feature alone has changed our marketing and our focus for 90% of what we focus on with iPuppy. And that is the service dog space. So somebody reached out to me about last summer saying, hey, can I use this for an emergency? My mom recently had her legs amputated. She's in a wheelchair and she has a service dog. And if she falls off, I would love for my dog to be able to press the button and notify me for an emergency. My simple brain, it never even occurred to me. I was just like mind blown. Absolutely. I was like, holy, this all of a sudden is like a medical life alert system for service dog handlers. And I struggled with really where to focus the marketing. There's other buttons out there, the talking buttons. They've done a very good job marketing and they have a very big community. So it's a very wide market for potty training and training your dog to press a button for whatever it is they want. But then we also have this service dog space where this could literally, at some point, iPuppy will save a life. It's inevitable that it's going to happen. On the potty training side, it's a nice to have. It's not a necessity. Whereas on the service dog space, it is more of a necessity. And you talk about the dogs. I mean, they can press a button in 2 seconds, right? They already have so much training that it's very simple for them to pick up that cue. Whereas the everyday pet parent might bring it to a trainer and the trainer can say, hey, I've trained your dog to press the button when they have to go to the bathroom, use the iPuppy. Or if you're training it yourself, the average pet parent, let's be honest, they might just get lazy after a week and just say, my dog can't do it. They're too stupid. And at the end of the day, it's up to the individual. They have to train the dog to do it. The dog wants to learn. They want to be enriched. They want to learn how to do it, but you have to train it. When we got our inventory right at the end of 24, we really put a big focus on just the service dog space, really just trying to niche down and kind of become the go-to product for that type of a situation and really own that space, for lack of better words. And it's it's really been a big move to focus on that. I went to the Assistance Dog International Conference in Orlando, Florida in March. And that was my first venture into the service dog space. Remember, I come from finance. I have no dog training experience whatsoever. I have even less service dog experience, zero. And I somehow stumbled into the service dog space. I know nothing about this space. So going into ADI in March, I had no idea what to expect entering a space where I know nothing about it, essentially. I'm just trying to convey where iPuppy can fit. And it's amazing what happens when you find your clientele, like the right people. Everyone said how amazing it was. Since that conference, there's Lions Hearing Dogs in Australia. They have about 30 iPuppy units out there themselves that they've purchased. We're in Lithuania, we're in Switzerland. All this came from that ADI conference. And we have some really good partnerships and collaborations with service dog organizations all over the United States. It's been kind of mind-blowing where it's taken us, from a simple concept of my 14-year-old chocolate lab having to go to the bathroom to now in the service dog space. So it's been a pretty cool evolution, if you will, of just iPuppy in general.
What a cool thing that you have something that a wide variety of people can use, but that it can do something that is also very specific if that's what it needs to be. That's innovative. And there could be so many different things. I'm sure people will write in and say, well, what if we did this instead? Or what if we did this instead? Or could I train my dog to use it for this? What a great thing. Just so many iterations that you could come up with from this. And you're right. Yeah. A service dog doesn't need to be trained how to hit a button. They'll figure it out. I mean, of course, they have to make the association between something's happening to handler, hit the button so that 911 is called or a family member is called or whatever it is in that case versus I need to go to the bathroom and the random gamble of who's going to come walk me. And that's totally fine though, too, because you're still serving the needs of a dog, which is something that I don't think a lot of people really cared about until the last few years. We're worried about what the dogs need versus how we expect them to live within our world, which is such a cool thing.
Yeah, it's really cool. And just see all the other tech products out there. You like GPS collars that are out there. There's a few popular ones. And it's just amazing what people can do in the tech space now that growing up myself, nothing was out there. I can't even imagine what's going to be out in 5 to 10 years. I mean, we'll probably be on iPuppy version 3 or 4 or 5 at that point. There's already some updates and changes we want to make to it with the app development. And we're talking to our app developers now, but 5-10 years from now, I can't even imagine what version we're going to be on of iPuppy and kind of how it's evolved. I would love to have a two-way video. We talk about two-way audio. Imagine having a two-way video with, that the paw maybe comes up and it's like, it's your video playing back. I don't know, something like that. And even still, I want to incorporate it with one of those doggy doors. I think MyQ is a pretty big company where the dog has to go to the bathroom. If you have a doggy door or any door, you can remotely let your dog out straight from the iPuppy app. And the door opens, you can just let your dog out there. So you don't even need a neighbor or dog walker. There's so many applications that this could evolve into, and a lot of people are reaching out. Even a friend of mine, their grandmother, she's has an aide at the house, and she's like, it would be great if she could even just press the button if she fell or something. And it was like a life alert. I'm like, yeah, but what if she's not wearing it or something, or what if I don't know, there's just so many applications that you could use where people and senior citizens can use it to reach their emergency contacts or something where it happened to them. It doesn't have to be the dog. My 4-year-old daughter, she presses the button when she has to get out of the bed in the morning. She can't leave her room until she calls mommy and daddy through the iPuppy. We're getting away from the dog space, but it's just kind of cool, all the different applications that people are thinking of using iPuppy for. So just kind of echo what you had mentioned. There's just so many different iterations.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a bad thing to get away from the dog space. Like I said, you've created something that can be used for multiple different things. And again, a little bit of creativity and curiosity goes a long way.
Yeah.
And if your device supports it and it helps somebody out, that's really all that matters.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's just a matter of time before we see all these other applications, iterations come to fruition with it. But yeah, the dog training, puppy potty training mostly, and the service dog space are definitely the two that we're focusing on now. We've had some good conversations with some partnerships and collaborations. We'll see how they come to fruition. But as you know, I went to Super Zoo in August. We got some good conversations going there. I think we're about to be on the Woofs app, which is great. We're just now on Doggo, the Doggo training app, which is great. Closing 2025 and heading into 26, I think we have some really good partnerships and opportunities coming. So pretty excited.
The way that, like we said, technology is moving, there's just going to be continued advancements and ideas and placement for your product. What role do you see technology playing in supporting, not replacing, training and enrichment?
I think it's huge. Just all these other different companies. This isn't so much tech, but I was thinking like Swift Paws. They had like all this, like the training that they have with Swift Paws. Like I just think technology in general is a lot of people think it's going to replace a lot of different jobs and think of technology and AI. I think it's going to supplement a lot. And I think even something like iPuppy, like you might miss a bell. Everyone's got their phone on them these days. You're not going to miss a notification pop up on your phone. You're not going to do it. Everyone's attached to their phone. So I think that going back to the collars, I think the collars are huge. I just think the evolution of technology is just really going to help everyone bring themselves closer to their dogs.
We are big fans of Swift Paws at our house. It combines all of the things that we need in one area.
Yeah.
We're training the dog to do something new, but we're enriching their life by giving them a fun activity. And we're supporting, like you said, that energy burn, helping them get that out, because I have a dog that's like woo, woo, woo all the time. And that really helps. So it makes in my day easier because I can maybe answer emails and push the button to make the course run at the
Yeah.
same time versus trying to stumble around the yard answering emails and throwing a ball at the same time.
Yeah.
There's just so much that we can do to really give our dogs better activities with just minor adjustments in technology. People do get a little bit afraid of technology advancing to a certain point and maybe taking over jobs and certain things. But at the same time, it really does help make our lives a lot more livable and give many benefits to kids and dogs and people in general.
For sure. I mean, you go back 25 years when the internet was really coming out, people thought it was going to replace all these jobs. Like, can you imagine the world without the internet these days? Everything you do is on the internet. I mean, Facebook's only 25 years old, and it's just like your cell phone, the smartphone. Technology in general it's going to supplement and help you more so than take over certain jobs. And, it goes back to dog training and such. Like it's a supportive tool for you to help in the day to day with your dog. Like you said, you're pressing a button while your dog's getting the energy they need while you're just sitting in the comfort of your home, sending an email, which is going out for an hour-long walk, right? And then even other like talking buttons, like, I know technically they're somewhat of a competitor of ours, but they're creating this communication and like enriching dogs to learn how to press certain buttons. And it's super helpful. It's like really cool to watch what dogs can do with.
And dogs have brains, and people forget that. Helping dogs think and make choices and do different things is really, really beneficial for them. And it gives them something that they don't normally get out of their day-to-day life. Most people just say, oh, my dog's fine. They can hang out on the couch all day, or they can do this or that. But I would be really, really bored if I had to sit on a couch all day and do nothing. So it'd be really neat to see down the road an iteration of iPuppy where you can play like a game with it or something and teach your
That'd be cool.
dog, like some kind of interactive thing. That'd be really fun, I think.
That'd be really cool. That might be version like 5.0, but I think that's definitely something that we can incorporate down the line.
You mentioned that iPuppy has gained traction with the service dog community. Can you share another story where it's made an impact with the listeners?
Yeah, I know a couple things. So on the service dog space, like there was one individual, I'm sure you've heard of her, Jamie Simpson. Her Instagram is Embracing Echo.
She's a personal friend.
Oh, Jamie's one of the nicest people like I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. And we missed her at Super Zoo, but she's an incredible person to even have the bravery to share share her story publicly. But she's used iPuppy, and you see it in some of the videos. And Echo, this famous video, just jumping over this couch like a superhero and pressing the button. But even just like seeing her husband get a phone call with the iPuppy, I mean, it's just like, it's wild. There's a organization down in Texas called Patriot Paws, and they have some incredible stories that they're doing with some of their veterans with PTSD and loss of limbs. They have some stories that they're working on right now with incorporating the iPuppy. It's really just been incredible to see. But we get emails constantly. This one woman, she's like, I'm 70, and I'm at home with MS with with my dog. She just ordered an iPuppy 2 days ago. She's like, this is going to be such a lifesaver for me because I don't have any other way to reach my emergency contacts if something were to happen to me. At the end of the day, people want to be able to live, independently. It's really encouraging when I get random emails like that from people. And I don't know how they found us, whether it's a search, whether it's through social media or what, but it's really encouraging to get these types of emails from people, just because they just want to be able to have the independence and the peace of mind to just like be alone without the fear of something happening and not be able to reach their emergency contacts or something. As far as other personal stories, like there's a dozen of them. They all kind of blend together because they're all kind of similar, but a little different in their own right. But it's just that we get a constant flow of emails with us for people sharing their story.
Cool thing to get to be part of people's personal stories like that. Without even being there, you get to help them in a way that they were not able to have some form of communication in order to call. The falling story. I have a grandma. She is in an assisted living facility now, but she fell before and she didn't have her little medallion on her to push the button
Yeah.
to call. Now she doesn't have a dog, so it probably maybe wouldn't work for her. But if she had one and it was on the floor and that was closer for her to be able to get, I could see where that will definitely help. And you're right. One day this will save someone's life. It absolutely will. And probably more than one life.
For sure. Yeah. And it's just wild to think of that. Yeah, like, it's just like it's still surreal. Obviously, I don't want it to, you know what I mean? Like I don't like it'll be cool to hear that it did, but like it's even like that's such a scary situation for that individual. But I'm glad to be able to provide the peace of mind that it can eventually save a life. It's like getting life insurance. You never want to, you get it hoping you never need it. You know what I mean? It's really cool to be able to create a product that can have this type of an impact on a space that I frankly knew nothing about even like 18 months ago.
It's wild how just a small idea can turn into something so big. And like I said, I think that you're going to find a lot more things that it can do for other people. Your founder story it's kind of a scrappy founder story. What do you think the hardest part of taking this personal solution to a startup was?
I have no background in any of this. So oddly enough, I think I mentioned to you, I used to host a podcast called Boston's Best. And at episode 85, there's this company called 52 Launch. They help you bring your idea to life. And they were 2 miles down the street from my house. I had never heard of them before and got introduced to them by somebody else that had used them. And I was like, wow, like, that's really cool. I always loved the idea of Shark Tank and like entrepreneurs and bringing like a dream to reality, if you will. And, we're going back and forth on ideas and iPuppy came up. So I hired them. So what they do is they have a team of engineers that help you design and talk through what you want, the features and such. So they're essentially like the middleman between yourself and the manufacturer. They have great relationships with manufacturers. So I used them and their team, and we went back and forth on all these ideas and iterations of how to create the iPuppy. I still remember the first 3D print. It's in my house somewhere. And from there, we made this overseas, and the difficulty there is the language barrier, more or less, right? So like I'm communicating with the third party 52 Launch, who's then communicating with the manufacturer, who, if they have follow-up questions, goes back to 52 Launch, and then goes back to me. And they don't fully understand everything that we're asking for. So the hardest part was really the patience on creating the product that we wanted, because, they're just looking to create a product and create a bunch of them and kind of get paid. Whereas I want a product that I'm not forgetting anything. If I'm going to commit to creating a product like this, like I want to make sure it has every feature that we can possibly think of. And with that being said, there's a couple that we didn't think of that'll be on the next, hopefully, the app update. The manufacturing is an incredibly long process. The shipping, really just the timeline, very much underestimated the time that it took us over 2.5 years from idea to actually have the first shipment of inventory here in Boston, Massachusetts. It took almost 3 years, a few months shy of 3 years. So the timeline took a very long time. And, I don't know anything. I just stumbled like into creating a product, and I'm not an engineer. I come up with ideas like, well, you can't manufacture that. That's impossible. So, okay, well, how do we do it? So learning that whole process was a very big undertaking. And then when you get the product, you got to make sure that the back end of the business is up and running. So one's the website to the social media to people signing up for potty training checklist or service dog checklist. You got to make sure all those email sequences are lined up correctly and they're flowing in a certain way. Even stuff like that, when you start a business, all these other things that I had absolutely no idea about. Starting a business is insanely difficult because you got to make sure all the pieces connect even before you have a finished product. Because if you want people to sign up for pre-orders and such, you got to make sure everything lines up and flows correctly. And you gotta have a CRM. You got a way to track all of it. It's really cool, but it's not for the faint of heart. It takes so much time and effort. I completely underestimated how long it was going to take and the effort. I was like, oh, it'd be cool to have like bring a product to life. And there's so much more that went into it. I mean, I'm usually awake, and this is by no means like a badge of honor. I'm usually up around 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm working on iPuppy from like 2:30 to probably 6 before my kids wake up. And then it's like breakfast, daddy time, daycare, drop off. And I have a full-time job. So I'm doing that, more or less from 9 to 5, fitting in as much iPuppy stuff as possible, like randomly throughout the day. And you get daycare picked up, and you get bedtime, and you get dinner time and story time. It's just like the only time that I have is like those wee hours in the morning when no one's up, where I can really focus. Like I said, it's not for the faint of heart, but we have a mission, and like it's very clear, and we have product now. Like it took almost 3 years to get to this point. Now, like now's the time, and you just you got to make it happen. So it's I don't know if I answered your question. That was a long-winded answer, I guess, of starting a business and the challenges. But there's so many, and you have no idea what to you can't plan for it because you have no idea like what to expect. I don't know. Like I've used ChatGPT to build code on my website. ChatGPT has been like my best friend because I don't know. I have no idea how to do that, and I've learned a ton. But it's just there's so much that goes into it, and it's really rewarding now at this point. Somebody in Montana bought 4 of them the other day. Today we're now in Lithuania. She just bought 3. Somebody in Lithuania randomly. Like it's just like we're currently in 9 different countries. So it's like cool to actually finally see it coming to fruition. I don't know how you're just piecemealing 27 things together at any certain time, but it's pretty cool.
Well, first of all, I can attest to that you are up at crazy hours because
Yeah.
you and I exchanged some emails at some very crazy hours. So I live that life too.
Yeah, I'm usually like scheduling emails for like 6 a.m. so people don't think I'm like some crazy nut job. But there's some people I'm like, she doesn't care. Like, might be up.
You got to do it when you have time to do it. I have the same thing. I've got a lot going on and running more than one business, and it really can get a lot going on your plate, and it can be very overwhelming. And yeah, it does take time. I'm super there on the timeline thing. I've learned very much how to be patient because of my dog and because of this podcast.
Okay.
So I totally get that. And ChatGPT has also become a really good resource for me. It always amazes me how much I don't know.
Yeah, like so for me, same. I don't have this marketing brain. Like I'm very much what's the analytical side? Left brain, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much the analytical side. And when it comes to creatives and stuff like that, like I throw it in ChatGPT and like give me like 12 examples of what you think would work in this type of a situation. I'm usually blending them together, but it gets my creative juices flowing. So going back to the tech of just helping you and supporting you, that is something that I'd be months behind if I didn't have something
Same.
like GPT. Even like little tweaks on the website, like Shopify, like move some stuff around. Like, where is this located? 4 seconds. I knew where it was located thanks to ChatGPT. I'm sure Google could have done it too, but like it's just they're 2 different types of animals. But it's helped me tremendously just on different certain aspects. I use it a lot of times for like idea generating and ideas for website copy and stuff like that.
For sure. Do you have an iPuppy with you?
I do.
You want to show what it looks like and kind of explain how it works a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. So this is the iPuppy. So it's a plug-in unit. And the reason for that is 24/7 camera feed. So a battery would just kill, the camera would kill the battery if it was battery only. That would kind of defeat the purpose for a lot, especially the service dog space. People use it as a lifeline type of search situation. So it's a pretty big button. It only takes a half a pound of pressure. I've had a dog as small as 4 pounds press the iPuppy, which was a pretty big feat. And when the dog presses the button, I don't know if people would hear this, but it makes a little noise when dogs press the button. And then when they do, you get a push notification sent to your phone. So on my phone, I have a push notification from iPuppy that pops up. And when I open it up, it takes you right to the iPuppy app. And then I have Face ID set up. And then when you open up the notification, it takes you right to a video call with your dog, essentially. So you answer it. I want to mute it because they're right next to each other. So it's like bouncing back and forth. But when you answer it, so you're literally receiving a video call from your dog. This is the camera. And then, from here, you can screenshot photos, record videos. There's the 2-way speaker. And then within the settings, You can set up the motion alert and invite family and friends and such. That's what it looks like. You will get a notification on your phone. You open it up. It takes you right to the camera, right at the front of the unit. So you're literally getting a video call from your dog. It comes with 4 anti-scratch pads on the back of the unit. And we also provide 2 pieces of double-sided 3M tape. So if people wanted to have it more firmly on the floor, they can do that. I've put it on both hardwood and tile for a month in my house, and it didn't scratch up or leave any marks on the floor. But we've had a 130-pound Newfoundland not be able to move it, which was like a pretty big test. You don't have to stick it down somewhere, but if you wanted to leave it firmly in place, you could, and it's not going to scuff up your floors or anything like that. Just connects directly to your Wi-Fi. You download the iPuppy app, you register your email address, and then you there's a plus sign. You add an iPuppy unit, you put in your Wi-Fi network, and there's a QR code that pops up on your phone. And then the camera at the front of the unit scans the QR code. Within 30 to 60 seconds, you're connected to your Wi-Fi. The whole thing should take you less than 5 minutes, probably just a couple minutes to actually set up. So
I have a question for you based on that. It notifies somebody, right? You get the push notification. If somebody doesn't respond in like a certain amount of time, does it try somebody else?
So no, you can set up so 3 different people receive that notification.
Okay.
So each time the button's pressed, a push notification gets sent out to the 3 emergency contacts that you got set up. So the difference between this and like I think there's another button, like a big yellow one that will go to person number 2 if person number 1 doesn't answer. That is different because it's a landline. But like the interface between an app and a landline, they're just 2 completely different types of interfaces. So this is just like any other notification that you get on your phone, whether it's a text message, a Facebook notification, email, it pops up on your phone that way. And if the dog presses it multiple times, there'll be multiple notifications that pop.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. And it does not connect to, I'd say all but one person we spoke to, like thousands of people said they don't want it to go to 911 because most of the time it's not an emergency.
Mhm.
So they figure, you saw how quickly I received. I mean, my phone's right here, but you get an alert within 5-10 seconds sent to your phone. And from there, people can probably pretty quickly determine if you need 911. After Super Zoo, I met the head of the tech department at Chewy. And as of yesterday, we are officially live on Chewy, which is a pretty big deal. So we're pretty excited about that. So you can check us out on our website.
That's incredible. And that is a big deal. And this show is called The Dog Who Asked for More. And Champ, who really asked you for more, and he helped you eliminate the guesswork out of what he needed as he got older. He asked for more communication, more clarity, and more dignity. What did listening to him teach you about the way dogs ask us for more?
Man, I mean, after so many years, you can usually just look at your dog. It's like a spouse. Like, exactly what it is that they want when they're just looking at you. But I would say the hard part with him, as he really declined, he didn't always know when he had to go to the bathroom in time. And I think that was the most difficult part of understanding exactly what he needed. I think iPuppy is just, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. But iPuppy was just another way that if he had stuck around, would have been another way for him to tell me what he wanted and just help with that communication piece. Because you just see the look in his eyes.
Definitely give your dog some grace and
dignity, like you said.
Dignity. Be there for them. Yeah, absolutely. If you could give one small challenge to the person listening right now, whether it be in life or with their dog, what would it be?
Spend more time with your dog. Go for that extra walk. Don't be lazy. Don't just sit around on the couch. Get an iPuppy. Get a Swift Paws. Give them the energy. Your dog needs all this energy. They're not just something that's just going to, like you said, laying around bored on a couch all day. They want to do stuff. Take the time to do something with your dog. I don't care how cold it is. I walked Champ when it was 6 degrees outside. Not for long, because it the rock salt that they sprayed around in my neighborhood would hurt his paws. I put stuff on his feet. Just spend more time with your dog, because you don't know if you have 6 years or 14 years with them. So my challenge to you is just get your dog outside today. Get them something. It could just be a little licky mat. Get them something that's going to enrich them. Do something for your dog today.
That is a super excellent message. I absolutely love that. Now that you know about iPuppy, you can go check it out for yourself. Make sure you check Chewy and check out iPuppy's website for more information. And of course, there will probably be a discount code, so don't hesitate to ask for that if you don't see it in the show notes. And remember, be kind, spread joy, and spend the time with your dog before it's up. And we'll see you next time on The Dog Who Asked for More. Thank you for listening to The Dog Who Asked for More and for giving your dog this time through your learning. If your dog is bouncing off the walls, no matter how much you walk them, it can feel like nothing is ever enough. The truth is, most dogs don't need more exercise. They need the right kind of enrichment to settle their brains and their bodies. That's why I put together a free enrichment resource packed with easy, fun ideas that you can try right away. You'll find the link in the show notes. New episodes drop every Monday and Wednesday. I'll see you next time.